You like to send weapons to my husband.
Yes, I do. I do.
I would like to say I hate it. I don't hate it, but it does crack me up. If something just like comes to the house, it just says Mox on it. Odds are it's from you.
It's a sword, a battle axe.
Yes,
The
which
more ridiculous the weapon, the better I like to send it to Mom.
And that's what it is. It's not like some like run. It's like usually some like medieval time,
halberd,
like some insane item. But yeah, from the what's the whip thing called again?
Shambok. Yeah.
The Shambok. We have like 10 of those in the house now. There's a blow dart.
Yeah, I sent him the blowgun. Blowgun's awesome. I mean,
there's just so many ridiculous things. So you enjoy a good weapon. What else do you have in your garage? What kind of ridiculous items do you have that my husband has not been gifted yet so that I can prepare for these?
You sit next to me. I wish I could turn my camera. I have a bucket of weapons just sitting in this room right now.
Like just like a red rubber bucket?
In fact, I'll tell you so you can throw this in post. I'll take a picture of the bucket of weapons and you can put it up on the screen.
Great.
And it just is listen, I'm a big history buff. This is where it all started. I mean,
really?
I'm a huge history buff. I mean, I love, the great battles in history. I love, reading about how societies and civilizations, proceeded, migrated, conflicted, the whole nine. So, and one of the things is, when you talk about medieval battles and stuff like that, you don't really think about just how crazy it really was. So, you pick up a battle axe over here, let's say. And
casually.
you think, yeah, actually pick one off. Give me a second.
Let me grab my battle axe real quick. Okay,
so for instance, got here a nice little Viking bearded axe, and you say to yourself, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Now, do I go outside and hit stuff with this? No. Do I kill water bottles with it? I don't. Maybe I should. I hear it's pretty fun. But really, it's just it boggles my mind that somebody sat in a field for 2 hours swinging this at somebody else and lived. Like, that's just wild to me. So that's kind of how it started. It was like more of like a visceral appreciation of history. But as time went on, there's various people in my life I just like to send ridiculous weapons to, just because the conversation they have to have with their wives, like, why is there a broadsword on my front doorstep right now?
Wait, do you have other people other than John that you're sending these ridiculous things to?
No, John is currently the only guy right now.
Okay.
Yeah. There have been others in the past, but John is only the current guy that I send arms to right now.
Have you ever had any kind of incident where you've needed to call upon a weapon? I mean, I actually know the answer to this, but
this is what
tell it or not. It's up to you.
Well, this is how the whole Shambok thing got started.
It's a great story, guys.
Somebody had gifted me one. And I was like, oh, wow, it's kind of a weird looking thing. And to give everybody an idea, it's basically a small medium. It's essentially a riot whip. And, have a terrible history of South Africa and all this stuff. And it's a horror weapon. But somebody decided to give me one. Of course, I decided to give one to John. But
hell of a weapon.
So, I kind of had it and just had it in my closet. Didn't really think much of it. It was just kind of, oh, cool little thing. And I remember we moved into our new home, and this was my first son was just born. He was very, very tiny. And we're in our room and we're listening to the baby monitor. All of a sudden, we hear this clack, clack, clack. So I run to the baby's room. Nothing's wrong. I thought fell out of the crib something. This is like the old audio ones, by the way. Just for I know there's video surveillance and all this stuff now.
But we're going old school.
Yeah, I'm like, where the hell is the sound coming from? Like, clack. And like, I look at my window and somebody's like, I see a chip in the window. And I open it up and there's this guy. He's basically in the middle of the street and he's just hucking rocks at people's windows. And, for whatever reason. And I remember I walked out of my house and, the guy's stumbling around, he's throwing stuff. And I looked and I go, hey, MFer, what are you doing? To which he stumbled over to me. By this point, I realized he's extremely inebriated. And he's like, oh, what are you gonna? And he's kind of stumbling and bumbling. And I'm just waiting for him to cross.
I couldn't imagine saying that to you, even
it's dark, though,
weapon.
To be sure. It's dark. It's okay. And I'm like peeking out the door, like, what are you? Then as I see him approaching, I'm like, oh, great, and just kind of waiting. I'm like, oh, it's probably just a drunk, dickhead. What more can you do? And waiting to get on the property, And it's like, The minute he crossed the line, I said, "Hey, man, get off my property. Get the F out of here." And to which he replied, "Hey, F you, blah, blah, blah." And I see him go down to pick up another rock, at which point I took 3 steps across with the shambach, cracked him in the collarbone, and he made this unholy noise, really bad noise. It was one of the roughest noises I've ever hit a human make. Kind of crumpled down into a pile.
Wait, he just like his voice making the sound or the collarbone snapping sound?
No, I didn't snap his collarbone, I don't think, but
can't be
the noise he made was, people shouldn't make that noise. So I mean, I'm like, oh, I look down at him and he's on the ground, he's messed up, and my neighbor who's catty corner to me in law enforcement, retired, but he came out and got the police involved. It was all on my cameras and stuff. Essentially the guy was just really, really drunk and not having the best night. And
you ended that quite quickly. Party's over, pal. Don't throw rocks at my kid's window.
It was like, obviously not my proudest moment,